And hello everyone, welcome to another Let's Play. This is Myrokos, and today we will be resuming the Pandaemonium raid questline. If you like what you see at any point, please like, share, and subscribe on YouTube, give me a follow on Twitch, hit the notification bells, and let me know what you like. Well, that's a little ominous. Just an eye like that. An unwelcome visitor. Claudian's eyes are brimming with the excitement of discovery. But what was the eyeball for? Myrokos, I've made a breakthrough. After uncountable days and nights, I finally hearkened to the crystal's whispers, and I must say... Say what? Professor Claudian, where are your manners? While I understand all too well your enthusiasm, I must remind you that even the most academically inclined prefer a composed recounting of events. Yes, of course. My apologies, Myrokos. Being consumed in my research for so long, I am afraid I have quite forgotten how to engage in civilized conversation. Okay? In that case, perhaps we should start from the beginning. With a crystal set adrift upon the ethereal tides containing the memories of a party yet unknown. They cried out for deliverance from Pandaemonium, where the ancients kept volatile creations under lock and key. You yourself witnessed the power, hello Autumn, the power devouring the facility from within, and the advent of a divine monstrosity wrought from mythic beast and powerful mage. Fortunately, your martial prowess and the combined magical talents of your companions Themis and Erechthonios was sufficient to restore order to the circles of Asphodelos, but the greater threat remains. In the depths of Pandaemonium, a presence yet stirs, its intentions and identity shrouded in mystery. That is the issue at hand, is it not? Yeah. Since you returned to us, we worked tirelessly to discern the nature of the crystal. In the process, I detected an anomalous etheric signature, which I believe arose from the memories stored within. That doesn't sound... Like, could that be him? Soul crystals work by imbuing you with the memories of those stored within it, but I don't think it quite works of its own volition like that. It's sort of it recognizes you've achieved something, and so it shares more knowledge with you. Analysis of this pattern suggested a feeling of loss or yearning, specifically the yearning to be made whole, and indeed, ambient readings have revealed a faint but identical signature. This can only mean that another such crystal exists in our time. Wait, there's another crystal out there? So, my friend, I must depart to search for it forthwith. By tracing the matching etheric signature to its source, I believe it will be a simple matter to find our crystal's twin. Professor, will this expedition be carried out only by us, or will Myrokos grace us with his protection? I'm afraid he has more pressing matters to attend to, my dear Royce. No? Namely, to seek out the secrets which lie within Pandaemonium, where this all began. From all that we have heard, it appears that time traversal from the Crystal Tower is not fluid. That is to say, one can but travel in predetermined intervals. It would be prudent to check in on occasion in case there are any unanticipated changes. As for you, my loyal assistants, I would ask you to remain here and continue cataloging the ancient creation. You can't mean... Do you intend to search for the crystal on your own? Why, yes, that would be the most efficient use of resources, would it not? In fact, I have already commissioned a ship and pilot for that very purpose. I trust you to take good care of the laboratory in my absence. I apologize for that somewhat abrupt departure. Did he at least leave the soul crystal? Because it's probably not wise to... Like, if he has the etheric wave signature, he should be able to use that. Okay, I apologize for that somewhat abrupt departure. When progress is in sight, Professor Claudian tends to become blind to all else. Indeed, and he has been worse than usual. While I cannot fault him for his excitement, I do wish he would spare a thought for those around him. For reasons unknown, the crystal seems loath to be overheard. Much as it spoke only to you last time, none but the professor has been able to capture its ethereal yearning, which has served only to convince him that he can solve this puzzle on his own. Shortly after some time alone, he'll come to remember how valuable we are. The search for this crystal seemed to be a simple enough matter. Let him have his adventure, and upon his return, I'm certain he'll be back to his usual self. As for you, Myrokos, it may be best to return to Pandaemonium, as Professor Claudian suggested. Speaking of which, I did have a request of my own to make. Traveling to Pandaemonium requires you to pass through Elpis, correct? There is something I would have you investigate in my stead. While those creations confined within Pandaemonium are considered to be failures, I doubt that's their whole story. Barring exceptional cases, they must have been under observation in Elpis before being consigned to their shackles, and if we know anything about the ancients, it's that they would have kept thorough records of the results. Ah, brilliant. Delving into these records may shed light on creatures Myrokos has yet to encounter, if your theory proves correct, that is. While there are no guarantees, it certainly beats the current strategy of rushing forward blindly with only his strength to carry the day. For your own sake, as well as ours, please unearth what information you can. Okay. Oh, Thomas is here. Ah, I did not expect to meet you here of all places. You seek records of Pandaemonium's creations? Master Themis has just finished perusing the very same. I should not be surprised that we both arrived at the same conclusion. Luckily, I have saved you the trouble and gleaned what information I could. Ah, so you know each other. I was dreading having to once again scour the archives, but perhaps instead I'll rest for a spell. If there's nothing else, I shall take my leave. As As should we, for I have undone the warding sigil blocking the entrance to Abyssos. I came here merely to chase an idle suspicion while awaiting your return. Fortunately, while Pandaemonium's protective wards continue to be assailed by our unknown foe, there have been no fluctuations so great as to make me doubt Erichthonius's capacity to keep watch over Asphodelos while I am away. He works diligently to master interment, that he might deliver the creations back to their cages by his own hand. I thought it best to give him time to hone his craft. And since fate has brought us both together, I would ask you to accompany me while I attend to another matter, more idle suspicions that I would like to chase down. Okay? Rest assured, it shall not take long. I simply have a few questions to ask an acquaintance of mine. Come, he has agreed to meet us near the naos to Pandaemonium. I must say, Elpis is, certainly beautiful. As I have pondered our expedition into Pandaemonium, I could not help but be mystified by how strongly the warders we encountered felt for La Habrea, whether it be for good or ill. Hesperos and Erichthonius were two sides of the same coin. The former looked to his mentor with absolute devotion, while the latter looks to his father with bold hatred. I would not expect a familiar such as you to understand this, but such extreme emotions toward a single individual are quite rare indeed. Naturally, I feel gratitude to my mother and father, yet we are all equals in the larger picture of the star. This view is not unique to myself, it is more or less accepted as the way of things. By contrast, the researchers of Pandaemonium seem to view La Habrea with a feeling approaching obsession. Whether driven by love or hate, they have all been drawn to him. There were many other aspects of the facility's particulars I found troubling besides. I decided the best course of action would be to go straight to the source and pose my questions to a member of the words of La Habrea. My apologies to have kept you waiting, Master Themis. I understand that you are conducting an investigation of Pandaemonium and wish to know of its origins. Indeed, in particular, I wish to know why exactly Pandaemonium was built directly under Elpis. The facility is overseen by the words of the Habrea, after all. Why keep it so close to Elpis? whose governing body has no say in its day-to-day operations. At first, I thought it to be simply a matter of convenience. Those creations which were deemed failures by the researchers of Opus could be easily ushered into their new homes. Imagine my surprise when a trip to the archives revealed that many of the creations were sent from organizations beyond Opus, including from the words of La Habrea themselves. Given this, albeit limited information, I cannot but feel that the Academia Editor would have been a more fitting locale. Oh, I remember that dungeon. What does Elpis have that cannot be found there? These are fitting questions, and ones which we have asked ourselves many times in recent years. Alas, the nature of Pandaemonium's construction does not lend itself to relocation. When first it was built, circumstances weren't as they are now. As you surmised, the majority of the creations kept within Pandaemonium were sent from Elpis. Yet as the years passed, interests changed. Failures in creations deemed too flawed even to submit to Elpis paradoxically drew the attention of Pandaemonium's researchers. That is quite the change, and in fact it almost runs counter to the facility's original purpose. Who is it that decides which creations will be the subject of research? Master La Habrea. Such authority is reserved for the chief key warder, and he has taken it upon himself to step into that role. Step in? So somebody else was key ward before him? So if Pandaemonium's resources were being misused, it would be under La Habrea's authority, correct? I know not what you are suggesting, but the keywords also hold some sway within the facility. Not even Master La Habrea would be free from their scrutiny. They are duty-bound to report any irregularities as soon as possible. Although I admit, as of late, their communication has been somewhat sporadic. We but recently received a report from one of the keywards stating that all is well within Pandaemonium's halls. What? Really? And you are certain that a keyword sent it? Yes, of course. Our communications suffered a temporary obstruction, but I can assure you that the words did their due diligence in confirming the identity of the sender. Thank you. This information will be helpful to my investigation. That will be all from my part. Then I shall take my leave. While you are yet permitted to conduct your investigation freely, I must remind you that the warder's work is delicate, and it would be remiss to disturb them for longer than is necessary. All is well. A blatant lie, and to that we can both attest. One of the remaining keywords is most certainly in league with the party behind this. Let us hurry. I know not why our adversary sent that report. 'Tis plain that we must return to Pandaemonium with haste. I cannot guess as to why this false report has arisen now, but it certainly bodes ill, as does the knowledge that our mysterious mastermind has at least one more keyword to puppet. Regardless, they have tipped their hand, and we would be remiss to leave Ericthonios at the mercy of their machinations. Let us hope no harm has befallen him. Luke. Not quite. I've traced these sigils countless times, yet still I lack the strength to maintain the spell. And now time works against me. I can no longer be victim to my own ineptitude. What? Who goes there? There is something to be admired in such single-minded effort, even if your methods leave much to be desired. Wait, isn't this one of the eye things from the Phoenix? You allowed this familiar to catch you unawares. Have you set your sights so high as to forget you walk upon the earth? I know this creature, a familiar of the Phoenix, but that monster is locked away. That it is, in spite of the trouble I went into in freeing it, I might add. Begrudge me for addressing you in this ill-fitting form if you must, but with control of Asphodelos wrested from my grasp, it's simply the best I can offer you. Fight if you will, but mark my words, I will find you and make you pay for the chaos you have sown. Now, there is no need for such hostility. A calm heart stays the course. The wisdom of La Habrea, your father. And how would you know what wisdom he speaks? I've heard those words many times. The scolding of a tutor whose students struggled to grasp the most rudimentary lessons, seething with disgust. No. I have not told that to anyone, not even keyword Hesperos. That can only mean one thing. That still you insist on mocking me. Stop this farce, La Habrea. At last you moved to keep up. Pity that you remain behind, nevertheless. Uh-oh. What? As ever you are, always you fail to learn, fail to understand, fail to act. And the fate deigned to offer an escape, you remain here, you are bereft of magical prowess and common sense both. But Pythagoras can't manipulate ether. You know, he can see the color of a person's soul and tell how far away someone or something is, but that's it. And it doesn't stop him. But you need not despair. Dull though you may be, you are yet indispensable to Pandaemonium's great experiment. Ugh, there's the affection I remember. Tell me, did I ever once measure up to your expectations? You shall. Take pride in that and rejoice to see your wish fulfilled. What? What wish? Come, and all shall be revealed. All this rage, this hatred is but a consequence of ignorance. Our desires align more than you know. What are you... Uninvited guests, join our reunion. It seems fortune no longer favors you. Do you think I have any interest in listening to your prattle, let alone bowing to your will? I am no longer a child, and my faith lies with those who have earned it. So these are the heroes who brought Hesperos low. Even as power divine flowed through his veins. 'Tis plain there are worthier subjects to contend with. Just what was that familiar after? Good question. Thank you. If you had shown up even a moment later, I shudder to think what would have become of me. There's something I must tell you. I know who's behind us. There is but one person who can hold thrall over familiar, creation, and keyword alike. Erixanius seems to have quite the story to tell. Perhaps we should lend an ear. Masks of the Father. Erixanius is certain he knows the identity of Pandaemonium's assailant. Okay. And so there can be but one conclusion. La Habrea was the driving force behind this chaos from the start. There is logic to that. There were a few with the wherewithal to even consider experimentation on such a scale, let alone the capacity to create demigods from man and beast, with the rest of us none the wiser. Considering the magnitude of his work with the Convocation and the words, his relatively minor role as chief keyword comes under little scrutiny, even as it provides him the authority to wield dangerous magics, and may serve as veil and mantle both. Still, I find the notion hard to accept. The misdeeds perpetrated here could not have been done by the La Habrea I know. I have yet to meet... you have met him, yes? Do you think he is capable of this? Oh, yeah. Is he? But you believe La Habrea to be a man of few scruples, if it brings his goals closer in reach. That alone should be enough. But let me assure you, La Habrea holds nothing so dear as his own ambition. While he may not be one to let emotions stand in the way of his mission, I cannot believe there are no depths to which he would not stoop. Although we met but briefly, the impression he left on me stands in stark contrast to your evaluation. Though his methods are ever unorthodox, they seemed guided by a firm understanding of what is just. There's one way to find out for certain. We delve deeper into Pandaemonium and pull back the curtain on this mystery ourselves. A wise course. I would not deny the truth if I saw it with my own eyes, even if it was discomforting to behold. Then we must move forward with no excess of caution. La Habrea, or whomever is behind this, has likely spread their tentacles into every corner of Pandaemonium. We can safely assume the other keywords won't greet us with open arms. Agreed, let us make our way through Abyssos, one careful step at a time. I shall stay by Erchthonius' side in case our enemies think to target him again. Could I trouble you to take the vanguard? Thank you. As a precaution, I shall safeguard you with a simple spell. This will ensure that even should we become separated, my phantom warriors will still come to your aid. If it does come to battle, the keyword's magic will put us at a disadvantage once again. Luckily, we have you to even the scales somewhat. I trust you shall be liberal with your weight. Judging from the demeanor of that familiar, there is little doubt that our enemy has a tight grip on Pandaemonium and its denizens, or we will be vulnerable. Just what is La Habrea planning, and what role do I play in his schemes? Out of curiosity, okay, it's 11th or 12th. Gonna be a while before I can do that. Okay, here we go. Okay. So we just got doused in what, saliva? Well, that was an interesting fight. So this is where research is conducted on creations imbued with poisons and venoms. Myrokos and I were conveyed not far from here. It seems our foe is finding it more difficult to surprise us. Fortunately for you, since they appear particularly keen to see you dispatched as quickly as possible. Huh. Even alone, you are a force to be reckoned with. Part of me is glad you emerged victorious, that I might observe you further. Were the circumstances different, I might thank you for keeping my son alive for this long, but I believe we can forego introductions unless I have misread you. La Habrea, I'm all too familiar. Paragon, am I supposed to know who you are? Huh. Yeah, then again, Elizabeth did say that La Habrea liked to use other people as puppet vessels, so that would explain why his appearance is different. A charming appellation, but I am afraid I hold no such position. No, I am La Habrea of the Convocation of 14. If you are truly who you claim to be, then answer this question. That can wait. What is this? Now this is curious. The trap I wove at your feet reacts to ether, but you remain unaffected. Such thin ether, and in an unfamiliar composition besides. It is of no matter, I suppose. A more direct approach will beget the same results. I would advise you to think carefully before deciding your next action. Strike me down here, and Archthonios' wish shall remain unfulfilled. Never again shall he meet Athena. Who's Athena? Mother? You would dare hide behind her name? Listen well, Archthonios. We are of the same mind concerning your mother. You have your allies for protection, so what harm is there in hearing me out? Archthonios, wait. There is a question I must needs ask first. If you are truly La Habrea, why speak such blatant lies? Bitter in defeat, are we? Say my name. A simple request. Themis, was it? A trifle soon forgotten, as are you. That's not his name. I have my answer. The La Habrea that I knew took pride in the convocation and would never suffer its denigration. You sully his station with this farce. Themis, what are you saying? La Habrea and I hardly saw eye to eye, but I know his voice when I hear it. Indeed, he makes a passing, fine imitation in appearance and manner. However, the real La Habrea would never call me by the name Themis. Okay. What trouble have you gotten yourself into, Elidibus? Imposter, you have no right to claim that form, that mask. What? Who? 'Twas a mask that sickened me to wear. The mask of La Habrea, a man who values his position above all, who would murder his own wife in pursuit of duty. What? Yet you would assume my name and wield powers that are mine by right? Any worth you may have hinges on that which you so despise. Such trite provocations. I will not be goaded into finishing this ere my work is done. Erixonius, listen well. I am Hephaestus, and it is I whom you should call father. What? What in the name of creation? We would do well not to stand idle while our enemy is about. I believe an explanation is in order, Elidibus. Let us return to safety so you may provide it. Ah, that sounds more like the La Habrea I know. Before we depart, however, I must offer you an apology. As La Habrea said, I am Elidibus, one of the convocation and emissary of their will. For reasons which do not involve you, it was necessary to hide my identity while investigating this place. Still, that hardly excuses my deception. I had a feeling, whatever your name is, you're still Themis to me. I know a thing or two about deception myself. Your perceptiveness does not surprise me. When the time comes, it shall make my explanation all the easier to understand. In any case, we have pressing matters to attend to. Let us do as La Habrea suggests and return to the gates. We can speak there. Please help him. Save him. What was that voice? I still don't understand. I see Elidibus has chosen to keep odd company, such a vexing composition of ether you possess. As you are aware of by now, I am known as Elidibus. After my dear friend Azam and I detected irregularities in Pandaemonium, we decided the best course of action would be to hide my station as I conducted my investigation. I am sure La Hebrea as well is eager to find out why I hid who I was, so I shall save that story for later. First, I would like to speak of you, my friend. Although neither Azam nor I had ever met you in the flesh, you came with his highest recommendation. That alone was enough for me to accept you as an ally without question. That somewhere in the world a guiding star so similar to himself was out there amused Azam to no end. There was no shade of doubt in his heart that you would be a formidable ally. Furthermore, I have heard stories that Mistress Vana, who held the possession of Azam previously, journeyed with a familiar much like yourself. That made the decision to trust you all the easier. She too now dons the white robes of an advisor. If she placed her absolute faith in you, I knew I would be in capable hands. Aware though I was of the path you had walked, I had no interest in exposing you. I merely wanted to meet you, to travel by your side for a while. I may know but a small portion of your whole story, but that is enough for me to believe you would never lead me astray. I wanted to tell you that. Okay. I admit my own grasp on what just occurred is somewhat tenuous. Doubtless La Hebrea can elucidate matters for us. I see, okay. Nothing new from him. The keyword's jail. Arcthonius is resolutely avoiding his father's eye. I don't know how long it's been since last we spoke, La Hebrea, and truth be told, I had hoped we never would again. But I see now that I was a fool to think I would ever escape your meddling. Just what is that thing that called himself La Hebrea? And why is he the spitting image of your younger self? I find it hard to believe you've only just now found out such a being was wreaking havoc in Pandaemonium. Did you think matters would simply sort themselves out? All good questions. I suppose you deserve at least a cursory explanation. I was well aware of the anomalies occurring within Pandaemonium, including the fact that Azam and Elidibus had taken it upon themselves to investigate. I saw no reason to insert myself into the situation for a time that was... Imagine my surprise when instead of a formal report from you and yours, I received a communication from one of the keywards stating that research and operations were proceeding as usual. While Hephaestus's deception was almost childish in its simplicity, it became plain to me that your grasp on the situation was slipping. So you knew of his existence from the beginning. I can hardly imagine that you would suffer another to masquerade as one of the convocation, not without good reason at least. As you well know, the name La Hebrea is but a marker of my station. 'Tis not the name I was born with. Hephaestus claimed that for himself, I cannot fault him for it. as he is my other half, in a manner of speaking. He knows all that I know, my equal in every way. Yet within his heart is naught but greed, envy, and desire. All the emotions that we are loath to acknowledge within ourselves. If what you say is true, what purpose would such a being serve? He is the product of experimentation gone awry, a reminder of days when I was yet young and reckless. I thought him sealed away for good, but it seems time has a way of unearthing the shame we bury. When he spoke of my mother, he looked at you with venom in his eyes, blamed you for her death. Tell me, was he right to do so? His words were but the ramblings of a tortured mind. The hatred and despair he endures has warped his view of the world irreparably. And now he has awakened. He must be put to rest. If he succeeds in breaching Pandaemonium's protective wards, he shall invite disaster unto our star. As chief keyword of Pandaemonium, it is my duty to decide the proper course of action. As such, I declare that all research shall be summarily abandoned and the facility destroyed. What? You would leave the other warders to their doom? 'Tis a choice befitting La Habrea. You disagree? Do you disagree? You speak of duty, as ours is to guide our star and its inhabitants upon the correct course. It is no surprise that you would choose annihilation of Pandaemonium if its existence posed even the remotest risk to our people. Yet, as you can see by Eucthonius's response, the decision is somewhat more nuanced than that. Azim and I grappled with this conundrum for some time, in fact. That is precisely why I chose to involve myself directly. It was the only way I could truly determine the best solution. And you need not trouble yourself with that further. The chief keyword must prevent the worst from occurring, no matter the cost. Your feelings, Elidibus, are of no consequence. Have you taken even a moment to consider another path? No. You spared nary a thought for aught but yourself and your duty. You have no idea of the trials we've endured, the foes that Myrokos has stood against. Myrokos, is it? A being of such ether as I have never seen. What are you? He is the guiding star that shall lead us safely through this. Thanks to his stout arm and steadfast courage, we have subdued the mythic creations and returned them to their selves. Speaking of which, I would hear your opinion, Myrokos. As outsiders, we are in a unique position to look upon circumstances with our vision unclouded by attachment. It's too soon to give up on saving the others. La Habrea can't be trusted. What was that you said about being an emissary? I'm curious about that last one, but he wants a direct answer. Might as well give it. Agreed. We still know next to nothing about Hephaestus, and I highly doubt La Habrea has been forthcoming with the truth. But we've managed to regain control of Asphodelos. He must be made to see that there is merit in continuing on this path. I have it. Speak in your official capacity as Elidibus, the emissary, judge which approach is more sound, and even La Habrea would be compelled to listen. As Elidibus, I am duty-bound to assess the matter of a position of from a position of impartiality. My opinion as Themis can carry no weight. You understand what that means, yes? I do. Even so, you've walked with us all this time, seen what we have seen. Based on that alone, I trust that you'll find the best way forward. Very well. Then in my capacity as emissary, I shall state my judgment. At present, there are merits both in destroying Pandaemonium outright and in taking time to rescue its researchers, and neither is yet an impossible task. Therefore, I judge that the most measured choice would be to continue upon our present course. We delve into Abyssos, interring any mythic creations we encounter along the way. Yeah, and if things turn out to be too chaotic, withdraw and sadly destroy. You know, that would be the backup. You have yet to witness Myrokos' might and Arachthonius' resolve. I would ask that you see our capabilities firsthand, and only then decide if our endeavor is futile. If such is the will of the emissary, then I shall obey. However, if indeed I find your strength to be lacking, I trust there will be no objections to the immediate destruction of Pandaemonium. You needn't worry about that. We won't fail. You are bolder than I remember. And you are even more tedious than I remember. Myrokos, come find me when you are finished. Arachthonius is understandably frustrated, but if we are to conquer Abyssos, we must go forth with clear heads. Pray, lend an ear to his troubles, that their weight may be lightened. You have done all you can with words, only your actions can convince me now. Despite recent developments, our plan remains unchanged. Pray call me Themis for the time being. It shall put us all in the correct mindset, and in fact, I may be coming to prefer that name. You do have my gratitude, ill-fit as I am to show it at the moment. Without your words to sway him, La Habrea would have carried out his plan without a second thought. When at first we realized the creations had slipped their bonds, the other keywords did all in their power to restore order. Even though they could have chosen escape, they remained to aid their allies. I am certain not a soul among them would wish to see this facility erased from the world, and they don't deserve to be abandoned simply for carrying out their duty. And besides, Hephaestus has secrets yet untold, secrets that would be buried if Pandaemonium were reduced to rubble. I mean to uncover the truth behind his words, the truth of my mother. While La Habrea was quick to dismiss his claims, I failed to see what Hephaestus would gain by fabricating such a story. As I was told of my mother's death, was all I was told of my mother's death was that she perished in an accident. No one would say more. It was almost as if they feared saying more, in fact. Even if it was not La Habrea that dealt the fatal blow, we've seen with our own eyes how quickly we can condemn others to die. I only wish to know at last what befell her. What do you think, Myrokos? Does the La Habrea you know have any regard for the lives of others, or will he carry out his duty with another's blood on his hands? He was always a man who worked in the shadows. He once used my ally as a vessel for his own twisted ends. I have no idea what he might be like in this age. What would possess him to do that? Even for La Habrea, such an act would be a black mark against him if it were made known. I can't imagine how much your ally suffered. But it is plain there is much to consider. Thank you, Myrokos. It's easy for me to get carried away by emotion where he's concerned. We should focus on the task at hand, proving to La Habrea that we are capable of saving Pandaemonium and its keepers. The most convincing way to do that is to regain control of Abyssos. Although I am loath to admit it, he would know more about those depths than any of us, and seeing as how we require every advantage we can afford. Myrokos, would you speak to him for us? He seems to have a special interest in your capabilities and may deign to help at your suggestion, if only to see what you can do. Researchers of different layers seldom contact one another unless work is involved, and I know next to nothing about the keyword of Abyssos. Any morsels of information La Habrea can offer would be a boon. Despite recent developments, our plans remain unchanged. Okay, I already said that. Erixanius appears to have a deep trust in you, and Elizabeth tells me you share some relation to Azim. Your unusual ether does not mark you as a familiar. It is unlike anything I have seen, even among the countless concepts I have observed. To think that I would encounter an existence I could not create by my own hand, Azim never ceases to surprise. The previous Azim was much the same. And taking the entirety of the star into consideration, she came to hold dear emotions and people that a more logical mind would have discarded. This made her act in her own self-interest more often than not. Just as you and Elidibus have conducted yourselves in this matter, the true danger of Azan's nature is its tendency to infect all those he comes into contact with. Emet-Sok said much the same. Trust that I shall do naught that would violate my duty. And yet you so frivolously invoked your authority as emissary to justify this little excursion. It matters little, however, only your deeds can speak for you now. You wish to know more of Abyssos, I take it? Although I no longer have control over many of its functions, I can yet sense what creations lie within. The chief keyword's reach is far indeed. Well then, what do we have to look forward to? I sense no creations of note. Perhaps they have been made into fodder for experimentation. Or perhaps they have been transferred to the deeper cells. Yet Hephaestus would never allow you safe passage. He has left a trial for you to overcome. I speak of hegemony, keyword of Abyssos. Although her presence is stained with marks of corruption, it is unmistakable. I knew her as a woman gifted in magic and blessed with a highly logical mind. While I can sense those qualities within her still, there is something else at work. If I had to hazard a guess, I would say that is because she has already been twisted into a Prometheus. Doubtless against her will. Myrokos, Themis, we must rescue her from that cruel fate, and if we cannot, we can at least seal her away until we find a means to undo the damage. Your allies make you bold, Erechthonios. I very much look forward to seeing how far they carry you. That was, I think, a point of praise. Oh dear. Hegemony was a woman of reason and logic. She would never be swayed by Hephaestus's wretched schemes. I hope she was not made to suffer overmuch. Now we prove our strength, only then can we free the other warders and unveil the truth hidden in Pandaemonium's shadows. Let us not change a strategy that has served us well thus far. Bring Hegemony to heel. Myrokos and Erechthonios and I shall inter her when the time is right. Okay? Okay, I think while I wait for this queue to finish, I'll go to my island and just chill out doing some stuff there while waiting. I know I've been doing the island off stream, but it's better than just standing there and being idle. Many animals are running on food. And they also look like I could stand to make some more. Oh, I don't think I showed this in my Heaven's Turn segment, but there's this Azure Fur Rabbit who is Seiryu. So, if you've done the Four Lords, you'd be surprised as to who's been here, and these two are if you did Heaven's Turn last year, you know that particular storyline. But this queue is certainly taking a while. Yeah, this queue is taking a while. I wonder if I should unqueue and requeue, although that runs the risk of just taking the same amount of time. Well, if you definitely need to get up and stretch your legs, do so now. This is certainly taking a while. Literally just stepped away to the bathroom, came back, and caught it in time. Ow, that hurt. I don't want to get in there. No. Who got hit by that? Oh no. That. Nope. Yep. Oh no! Not the... That... I wanted to move out of the area and wound up not getting the healer. That one. It just stood still. Well, that was interesting. Hmm. I could sense from here that hegemony had been contained. The effect of Hephaestus' tinkering is even more dire than I had imagined. Okay, as is to be expected, Eryxthonius appears quite pleased with our victory. We won. The keyword is sealed away and alive this time. Lahabrea can't deny us now. Well, he may acknowledge us, but that does not mean that he would deny us. Servant of violence, Eryxthonius seems eager to dispel Lahabrea's doubts. Our plan was a success, although I hardly need to tell you that. Hegemony has been sealed away, and now you have no choice but to admit the merit in our methods. You have the right of it. I am not so petty as to deny the achievements of those I have squabbled with, no matter how strongly we disagree. Moreover, this being, ether as thin as retreating mist, unable to wield creation magics yet powerful enough to subdue a Prometheus, has made this ordeal far more interesting. Then we have leave to continue. As for that, there is one among you whose very presence puts the others at risk. It would be best to proceed without him, for failure would have consequences that reach far beyond Pandaemonium. And of whom do you speak? A warder who cannot even conduct his duty without aid. In this place, hope alone is not enough to overcome what awaits you. A single misstep will send all to their doom. So long as we each do our part to look to the allies by our side, even a neophyte can upraise his companions. That's something that Myrokos and Themis taught me. While I do not wish to express any bias, I am inclined to agree. If my investigation has made anything clear, it is that we are together greater than the sum of our parts. And hope has brought us this far. It drives us to seek the right path, and to act before that path lies closed to us. Then tell me, what is it you hope for? To see Hephaestus in chains, that's the surest way to prevent further sacrifices. I am aware that destroying Pandaemonium would rid us of him, but the cost is far too great. And I admit I wish to know how he means to resurrect Athena. And there we have it. You must leave this place at once, and do not think to set foot in Pandaemonium again. You are capable, that much is plain, yet Hephaestus cannot be suffered to live, and I shall not allow his talk of resurrection to poison mine or anyone else's mind. Life flows in a cycle. This is known. All souls return to the underworld, and Athena's is no exception. She has likely found a new vessel and a new journey to embark upon. You cannot be ignorant of the folly of Hephaestus' words. Even were he to breathe life into a body, the soul contained within would not be your mother's. What if our knowledge is imperfect? What if Hephaestus has discovered something that no one else has? He knows all that you do, understands the bitter reality of the world. He wouldn't pursue the impossible. Think, Erichthonios. I have already explained that he is merely my twisted reflection. Is it worth bringing back your mother if it means others are used and discarded like tools? Is it worth it to see her once more? Now you measure the worth of your colleagues' lives. What was that foolish braying about saving them? Merely a performance to hide your childish devotion to your mother? Please, such barbs will get us nowhere. We should first discuss. You would call me a fool? You who murdered your wife in service of your ambition, for the sake of the star, no doubt. I can hear it again. That voice inside my head. I know who to follow. Hephaestus. Father. Mother, oh, I love you so, and this voice will guide me to you. No, listen not, Erichthonios. Apologies. You taught me that a calm heart stays the course, but I could never grasp the rudder. This was Hephaestus' work, there can be no doubt. It seems he learned from his previous failure. Hephaestus is cunning despite his warped mind. Whatever took hold of Erichthonios, it made short work of his reason. From the moment he laid eyes upon me, I could sense his hatred and rage simmering below the surface. 'Twas but a matter of time until it spilled forth, and that was when he fell into the spell's embrace. A magic woven with such skill that Erichthonius himself failed to notice until it was too late. If this is the measure of Hephaestus's power, then the other keywords had little chance to resist it. We saw his work during our encounter with Hesperos. Doubtless Hephaestus's magics fed his admiration and envy until there was room for naught else in his heart. And there was something else besides. Did you not feel the presence of another? As I thought, someone was trying to warn Erichthonius, but whom? Could it have been one of the keywords? Alas, their warning arrived too late. I had already provoked Erichthonius past the point of no return. I bear the burden for this failure. In my stubbornness, I could but scorn the boy, and Hephaestus knew that. And now I dread to think of the ordeal that awaits him due to my rashness. There is yet time to save him. We can easily regain control of Abyssos, giving us a firm foothold from which to brave Pandaemonium's lowest level. The enemy is within reach. Just as with Hesperos, Erichthonius is in danger of being consumed by Hephaestus' spell. However, I have faith that he will not easily lose sight of himself. The way forward is clear. La Habrea, pray tell us all you know of what we shall find beyond Abyssos. I can only assume one more keyword lies in wait. The deepest level of Pandaemonium is called Tartaros. So I guess it's like Tartarus. Okay, Tartaros. And your passage shall be challenged not only by a keyword. Hephaestus has laid traps at every corner of its halls. You have no hope of surviving far past the threshold. That, I expect, is where Myrokos shall shine. His dissolute ether shall allow him to slip through the traps unimpeded. We saw it when Hephaestus had no effect, and doubtless even he has yet to devise a countermeasure. Then time is of the essence. Hephaestus is already well aware that you can match a keyword in battle. He will not stand idle while you stroll past his other defenses at your leisure. Agreed. However, clarity will be indispensable to our success, and I'm afraid I must insist upon it ere we depart. We have yet to discern to what end Hephaestus would use Erichthonius. If you know, I would ask that you enlighten us. And then there is the little matter of Athena. Why do you so fiercely rebuke Erichthonius' feelings for his mother? While I understand the very thought of resurrecting the dead is anathema, you act as if grief over her passing should be equally so. How are we to grapple with that? With what plagues our friend and drives our foe if you refuse to acknowledge it? I do acknowledge it. I wish only to spare those that feel it still greater pain. Did you mean to protect Erichthonius with your silence? So instead of being honest, you bicker like a child, and so you drove your own son over the edge. How dare you? No, you are right. The blame for Axonius' fate rests squarely on my shoulders. Very well, I shall lay bare the truth, but only after the foe before us has been laid low. The remaining keyword, just is, I'm almost certain that I butchered that. Agdistis, she has served in Pandaemonium since its inception, and her affinity for magic is peerless even among the keywords. Hephaestus knows that losing her would mean the end of his experiments. He has hidden her in a space unreachable by conventional means. But your presence makes mockery of such barriers. The scarcity of your ether means it will be trivial to send you directly to Agdistis. We shall approach as closely as caution will allow. We know where the battle will commence, so I do not anticipate difficulty in detecting your presence. From afar, I shall do my best to provide you with ground on which to fight and phantom allies to aid you. As for the interment, I have yet to think of a foolproof method. Internment shall not be necessary. What? From here, I can sense Agdistis' essence, but it is scarcely recognizable. Hephaestus was more ambitious with her than he was with Hegemony. She has been transfigured as such that barely a scantling of herself remains. We can but take comfort in what a mercy the underworld will be to her. So she's so far gone that... I shall establish control of Abyssos while keeping an eye on your battle. When the dust has settled, Hephaestus will have nowhere left to flee. I sense that Hephaestus has come close to perfecting his image of a Prometheus, which means his research is in its final stage. And I might as well head back to my island. Just try to get some gathering done. I have a feeling this is going to be a bit of a wait. Whoa. Not even a chance to commend anyone. Hmm. The moment Distes was slain, the flow of ether and Pandaemonium focused keenly on this location, creating a tunnel of sorts through which we could quickly convey ourselves. 'Twas almost as if we were ushered here. The space was created with care and concealed with powerful wards. Only a key ward would have been able to detect it, and even then with great difficulty. Ergo. Oh. If only I could restore Tartarus to order, but I am afraid this is the most I can manage with such power as remains to me. It has been too long, Master La Habrea. Likewise, Agdustes. I should not be surprised you were able to break free of Hephaestus' spell, even diminished as you were. 'Twas not an easy task, even with your aid. His curses dig into one's heart, creating a storm of emotions that is all too easy to become lost in. Only by chance did a fragment of myself remain, illuminating a path through the madness. And thus I am able to appear before you now, even while my body was powerless to resist Hephaestus' commands. Some small part of my logical mind stood alone in defiance. It even managed to speak to the outside world. Oh, so hers was the voice. Yeah, it's kind of hard for Athena to speak if she's dead. The report. That was you. Doubtless you recognized my voice from the many times I called out to you. The hope that those pleas would not fall on deaf ears was all that kept me from succumbing to hopelessness. Oh, so hers was the voice from the crystal? Huh. Hers was the voice from the crystal. That's interesting. But I have a greater purpose here than simply saying my farewells. There is something you must know, that the tragedies of the past do not repeat in the present. Forgive me for what I am about to do, Master La Habrea, but the story must be told. 'Tis the only way to understand Hephaestus' fixation on Erichthonios. No longer can you hide your heart away. Hephaestus? No, the mask marks him as La Habrea. Master La Habrea had brought an end to Lady Athena's life and sealed away a part of his memories and emotions within Hephaestus. These are my recollections of the moments following. And you truly have no intention of revealing the truth to Erichthonios? My lesser half is now buried, where none can find it. We would be wise to do the same with our memory of this day. Blood should not sway the spirit so, but Athena's teachings have warped the boy. I fear he would see our star burn to keep his mother safe. Erechthonius believes that he feels love, but he is shackled by dependence. He could not bear the truth. His dependence makes it all the more important to be open with him. He will seek answers about his mother's loss, which shall inevitably lead him to you. Are you willing to accept the blame for Athena's death? Are you willing to accept your son's hatred? If that is what comes to pass, then so be it. Better to be burdened with hatred than the knowledge that Athena thought his body and soul mere tools, to be used and discarded. Even were I to tell him what his mother plotted, he would ever seek reasons to believe that the true fault lies with me or with him. Could he merely hate me, he will remain unfettered by doubt, free to serve the star far from his parents' shadow. And yet, he served in a position under La Habrea. Erechthonius loved his mother more than life itself, and yet, what a dreadful truth you've borne all this time. Such is La Habrea's nature. Every action, every word, a solution to life's greatest dilemmas, and none to spare for his own. What I have revealed to you is but a small portion of a larger picture. I shall leave it to La Habrea to paint the rest for you, and for Erechthonius, I hope. Thank you, Egdistes. I always admired you, you know. What choice did I have when you sacrificed so much to guide our star to the heavens? Hephaestus has doubtless sensed that his final keyword has fallen. We should return to the surface before he moves to strike us here. If we are to face him, we must be prepared to bring our full strength to bear. It was Erechthonius' hatred of his father that caused him to fall victim to Hephaestus' magics, yet the roots of that hatred were born from his son's love. A love nurtured not by a mother caring for her offspring, but by a researcher creating the ideal test subject. Pandaemonium abounds with demons indeed. Egdistes was ever a bold woman, even in her final moments, that she would unearth the secrets of my past for all to look upon. Still full glad am I that she faced you as her last opponent. I could think of none more worthy to send her soul off to the other side. One final wish. Hello, Autumn. I need the mouse. La Habrea would speak further of Athena's fate. The vision you saw told the story far more eloquently than I ever could. Athena was consumed by her research and was willing to sacrifice her own child if it hastened her progress. She did not offer him a position here out of a sense of love or pride. It was merely because she knew he would be the most pliable test subject. I see now why you hid the truth from him. I cannot say with certainty that Erichthonius could handle the weight of such betrayal after holding his mother on a pedestal for so long. Unfortunately, it seems not even her death has ensured his safety. Hephaestus has taken up Athena's research and succeeded in creating Hemitheoi. I know not what his ultimate end is, but 'tis plain it is connected with the resurrection of Athena. That knowledge alone is sufficient to direct our next course of action. As for the rest of your story, we shall hear it after we have returned Erichthonius to safety, in accordance with Agdistes' last wish. Very well. I can at least assure you that finding him shall prove relatively simple now that Hephaestus can no longer bend Pandaemonium to his will. There is but one place left for him to find refuge, the Black Heart of Tartaros, where Athena built her testing compound. Oh, so we're just going straight to Tartarus, okay. We can assume that Hephaestus will offer fierce resistance. I must focus my every effort on securing a safe means of approach. La Hebrea, I would ask that you assume my duty in summoning Myrokos' phantom warriors. I have no objection. My ability to fight within Tartarus would be greatly diminished in any case. However, I wish to deal the final blow to Hephaestus myself. There is no need to dirty your hands with such a deed. I take it then that you have no intent to seal him away as before. The presence I felt when I encountered Hephaestus bore little resemblance to the entity I created by his own hand. He has become something far more wicked, and the same magics that once shackled him may very well shatter before the power he wields. On my pride as a researcher, I am loath to repeat the same mistake twice. I would not see these events play out again, and so he must be extinguished. Well then, I shall open the way forward. May we finish this together. The end is in sight. Return to me safely, friend. If Hephaestus truly means to continue Athena's research, then Erichthonius is indispensable to his goals. He is safe, but for how much longer, I cannot say. Okay, 11th and 12th, yeah. Okay, last one for this part of the raid playthrough. Let's hope everybody accepts the queue, the duty commencement.
Ericthonios is mine, heart and soul. And with your death, none will be left to stop me. Rest eternal in the dark depths of this prison. From fulgent flame my servants rise. Out of my sight! Leave naught but ash in your wake. Let seep sorrow into your heart. I tire of this farce. Behold the fruits of sacrifice. You are prey to be consumed. Perish in flame's embrace. Go forth and sate your boundless hunger. From fulgent flame my servants rise. A fitting death. I shall see my wish fulfilled. You will know my rage. Sear flesh from bone. Leave naught but ash in your wake. Out of my sight! Behold the fruits of sacrifice. You are prey to be consumed.
Now we end this. Oh, 3 commendations. Nice. The chain of events that led to this moment began with my error when, out of mercy, I confined you here. Now I break it and leave no trace of you behind. This is not over. I see you will not go peacefully. Even a cast-off would uphold his pride, though such an impulse must speak to the overwhelming arrogance of my other half. The name Hephaestus shall grow to eclipse yours. None shall remember the deeds of the Hebrea once I fulfill Athena's ambition and bring Erichthonius' dream to life. You speak as if you care a whit for the boy. Why then do you cower behind him? There are some desires which must not be realized. Athena would see the world destroyed if it meant she could find hers in the ruins. As for Erichthonius, he knows not what his wish would beget, a truth which you have hidden from him. Do you truly believe a father's role is to deceive and manipulate? My wish... You would claim the name Hephaestus and call yourself his father, yet you bind his mind and body in dark chains. Your words and your pride ring hollow. Athena wanted her son by her side, and he desires to return there. What wickedness is there in mending a broken family? Athena cared not for Erichthonius, beyond how he could serve her ends. You claim to be acting in his interest, but 'tis plain you are no different. As I ushered Athena to her end, I vowed that my sole mission in life would be to guide this star true. In service to that vow, I silenced the whispers of my heart. I could not nurture a son whilst an entire world looked to me for guidance. For that choice, I bear the responsibility. Yet he is still my son, and I will not suffer you to seduce him with false hope. You who are not but the bitter dregs of Athena, and I, the very worst of us. Mother, she... No. Then who... How do I... Trust in the Hebrea, hearken to your heart, come back to us. I hear you. I owe you and Themis an apology. Athena, did you ever And La Habrea, I will have my say. Okay. How? His mind was mine. I can't explain. Myrokos' words reached me through the haze. They rang loud and clear. As did the words of another, in a voice much like yours, but resounding with truth. When did you master these bonds? Oh, we've endured much worse. You worthless, you... It appears my failures have borne fruit after all. You did well, son. Ooh, yeah, wow, high praise. High praise from La Habrea. Where are we? Tartarus. And that's where we are. With Hephaestus' essence contained in this crystal, we may safely return Erichthonius above that he would bind Hephaestus with only half his senses intact. You quite understated his adeptness in the art of interment. It was hardly what I had in mind, but a feat deserving of praise nonetheless. Truth imperfect. La Habrea is looking at Erichthonius with concern. I feel no trace of Hephaestus' poison in your mind, and for a blessing it appears your body is none the worse for wear. I made my way as soon as I could. I no longer sense Hephaestus, and the force assailing Pandaemonium's barriers has ceased. Are we rid of him for good and all? I see. Despite his muddled senses, Erichthonius felt that to seal Hephaestus away was the proper course. It wasn't so noble as that. I only knew something had to be done, so I acted. La Habrea, was that how you dealt with Hephaestus in the past? Indeed. He was naught but the parts of my memory and soul that I had cut away, a mass of ether without a material vessel, Storing his essence within a crystal was the most logical choice. On that matter, I believe the time has come for you to share the rest of your tale of Hephaestus' creation and Athena's end. I heard your words, but only vaguely, as if from under the surface of a deep pool. My mother wished to use me. Yep. I would hear the whole truth. I want to know what happened here and what drove Athena to act as she did. I'm ready. As am I. Athena's brilliance outshone us all. Even the other members of the Words of the Hebrea were as children in comparison to her, so dedicated to her research was she that it was not unheard of for her to forget meals or even sleep. Her mind was ever grasping for knowledge, and it was in this endless search that she became obsessed with uncovering the secrets of life. You see, while we can conceive life in various forms, the means of creating a soul are beyond our ken. Similarly, though we can enhance and alter our physical vessels, we have ever been bound to them. Athena's purpose was to shatter these limitations. Such limitations as we were not meant to surpass. She sought to enter the realm of the gods. Scarce few have the ability to comprehend what such a task entails, let alone the courage to attempt it. For most, the thought would be an idle fantasy, considered once and then discarded. Not so for Athena. As leader of the Words of the Hebrea, I spoke with her often about transcending our being. From an academic perspective, the challenge has plagued countless researchers through the ages. It was during these musings that I began to formulate a theory, a means by which a person could meld with a creation. The weaknesses of one would be mitigated by the strengths of the other, and the result could be something greater than we have ever imagined. Although it was but a theory, Athena insisted I develop it further. Curious about every detail along the way, our conversations became more frequent and our platonic relationship grew into something much more. I take it I was born not soon after. Just so, I believed she bore true affection for me and was blind to her hidden intentions. When Pandaemonium was built, she requested to lead the researchers. I saw no reason to deny her. Even setting aside our relationship, her accomplishments as a scholar made her the obvious choice. However, in giving her Pandaemonium, I also gave her free rein to conduct whatever experiments she could devise. And when you found out what she was doing, you killed her. I made haste to Pandaemonium the moment I learned of these hidden chambers. I left Agdistes to keep watch from Tartaros's vestibule as I ventured deeper, knowing not what would await me. As for what occurred next, 'tis best to see with your own eyes. Is that me? Are you well aware that out of respect for our neighbors in Elpis, the researchers of Pandaemonium are not to be masked? Yet you stand before me with your face covered. What petty defiance is this? What indeed? So quick you are to rebuke me, though you yourself have not set foot in these halls since their inception. You must have known you could not conceal this from myself and Agdistes forever. As well, you know that I cannot allow it to continue. I shall say this but once. Release Erichthonios, else I shall have no choice but to strike you down. I would meet my hand at the hands of none other. However, ere my time is come, I will have you know the why of it. Then you will not desist. Once you understand what has driven me this far, you shall see that stopping was never an option. The feelings of one weigh little on the needs of the entire star. Of course, of that I am well aware, but you did not deign to descend from your lofty heights simply to lecture me as you would a child. You have an interest in my motivations. What possessed Athena, peerless researcher and mother to the son of the great Lahabrea, to embark upon the path to her downfall? History will demand an answer, but it is you who deserves one. Give me your hand, Lahabrea. We shall know one another. So they actually wanted to merge? Impossible. You bonded your souls? Wait, isn't this like what Lahabrea and Igyorn did in the Singularity Reactor? Except that was fusing not just their souls, but their bodies as well. Aye, that the boundaries between us would cease to be. She offered me everything to be understood. I found myself unable to refuse. At that moment, my mind was a storm of questions, yet one roared the loudest. Did Athena ever truly love me? I am become thee, memory and mind. And I thee. Can you feel it? My heart, all that I am. Yes, as if it were my own. A fathomless desire to dissect the mysteries of life, to transcend our mortal flesh and bleed into a higher plane of existence. An unquenchable thirst for knowledge, not a single thought spared for another, for the star. How disappointing. Yet what is known cannot be unknown. You have beheld my life's work. Try as you might to excise the memory, the seed of desire remains, and when it takes root, you too shall be consumed by the selfsame fervor. I will dig it out. I will dispense with the corruption in my soul ere your rotten insight spread. Twas my weakness that led this weakness fester, but never again. Today I shall cast aside fickle emotion and abide. Today I renounce all that I was and live only as La Habrea. Interesting. Thus did I forsake the part of myself that had been polluted by Athena, sealing it within a crystal. Never did I think I would one day face those memories made flesh. Forgive my bluntness, but your actions bordered on insanity. To go to such lengths to escape your memories, you nearly rewrote your very existence. Rest assured, the change did not go unnoticed by our colleagues in the convocation. Igorm and Emmett Selk, in particular, made plain the suspicions they harbored. As well they should have. That you escaped with your life is nothing short of a miracle. Why didn't you destroy the crystal then and there? Did you think to one day make use of the knowledge it contained? Now, not to deny such considerations played into my decision, but my main motivation was fear. I had never attempted such a feat before. That crystal was my sole recourse should something go awry with the remainder of my soul. In hindsight, to cling to it was a mistake born of doubt. Athena must have anticipated that I would resort to such measures and prepared a vessel beforehand that would accept the dregs of my soul. Hephaestus doubtless believed he was performing his duty as a husband and father should, yet in truth he was but a puppet being pulled to and fro by Athena's desires. His goal was not to raise himself high. He thought only of seeing his dear Athena alive again, that she might finish what she began. Yet for all of that, he and I were alike. We yet shared a fatal flaw, you see. Our need for control blinded us to other perspectives. While I was in thrall to Hephaestus, you called out to me, "What say you now? Does La Habrea speak true?" You did promise, yes, and now it's your turn to do the same. What does your heart tell you? I just want to know one thing. Did you truly believe that in hiding the truth I believed that hiding the truth was best for me, even knowing how I felt about my mother. The Lahabrea I know had a fatal flaw after all. I'm still not convinced. I have said all that I can say. Now it is for you to choose to believe me or not. The Lahabrea I know holds duty above all else. I would sooner prostrate myself before an erupting volcano than place my fickle emotions in his path. When you return to the surface, you'll doubtless don that mask once more, so before we climb out of this forsaken pit, I suppose I should say, thank you, Hephaestus. Hephaestus was far more than a limitation of Lahabrea. He was quite literally a part of him. But Lahabrea, to me, is a man who thinks of naught but his duty. By casting aside the burden that Hephaestus represented, he shall become evermore himself, in a way. I have said all that needs to be said. From this moment forward, I pledge that my heart shall not lead me astray. I have heard enough. There is more I would yet discuss, but we should first return to Pandaemonium's gates. I'll gather my thoughts on the way. We have regained complete control of the facility, but it shall take some time yet until things are in working order again. Athena viewed Arcthonius as the ideal test subject. Hephaestus' research must have been very nearly complete to seek him out like he did. I owe you an apology, Myrokos. It was due to my own inexperience that Hephaestus was so easily able to take hold of my mind. I also owe you thanks. If you and Themis had not chosen to brave the chaos occurring in Pandaemonium, then I would have never known Lahabrea's story, my father's story. For the tale I too was fascinated to hear. I very much look forward to speaking with Azim upon my return. I cannot help but wonder how much of this he foresaw. I am afraid I cannot allow that, Elidibus. So long as you retain control of Pandaemonium, there is work to be done. But of course, I shall first free the remaining warders and restore this place to its former glory. Using the facilities in Tartarus, we should be able to reverse the changes made to their bodies and minds. I shall stay behind to oversee the process. That is well, but I must yet learn why I was considered the key to Hephaestus' experiments and how he intended to revive Athena. Such questions are best left unanswered. In fact, I forbid the pursuit of that knowledge. The boundary between man and creation shall never again be crossed. And I intend to destroy the crystal containing Hephaestus' essence. That is the mistake, this mistake never again repeats. I see no reason to gainsay your judgment. There is yet the matter of your crystal, however. truth be told, I had not considered its origins until I saw the one containing Hephaestus' ether. I was struck by how wholly different they were. There is another. While imbuing a crystal with memories is a simple process, storing a message, a warning even, would be something altogether more complex. This also means that someone besides the present company and Asm was aware of the plot unfolding in Pandaemonium. Then why would they not make themselves known even now? No threats remain. Perhaps it was one of the other warders. We shall question them after they are freed. That task may take some time, a resource I'd rather not steal more of from you. Return at your leisure and we will share our results then. You've done more than enough for the time being. I am of the same mind. Leave the loose ends to us and continue upon your journey, or if you are so inclined, take a much-needed repose. This talk of journeys smacks of Asm. As well it should. He has pledged to keep moving until he has seen every corner of the world. If you do find yourself with a spare monument, you might bring that crystal of yours to La Habrea. He might be able to offer further insight. Until then, my friend. I look forward to your returning with the crystal, but worry not. I shall try my best to stave off loneliness while you are gone. As you may have noticed during our battle, La Habrea's mask crowns me when I've transformed. It is said that we manifest in a way that reflects our innermost selves. I had thought that mask a symbol of the chains that bound my heart, but recent events have caused me to reconsider that assumption. The crystal that hangs from Erichthonius' waist was a gift from me, made in the hopes that it would spark growth in his aptitude for magic. It is plain he no longer requires it, but I see no reason he cannot wear it for a while longer. Well, back to Aporia. No Claudian. Why, if it isn't Myrokos? Excuse me if I'm not my usual chipper self, but we have not been without our difficulties in your absence. You see, communication with the airship Professor Claudian commissioned for his search was lost some time ago, and now we have quite lost track of where he might be. And to make matters worse, Nimgigi has just sent word of an unusually large amount of energy coming from somewhere within the ethereal sea. I was just on my way to the ITS scope. In fact, please, you must come with me. Oh dear, what's happening? What? Pandaemonium? Here? What is that? Is it real? Pandaemonium. That's what it is. Why is it that whenever danger visits the world, you are never far behind? And you too, Professor Claudine's assistants, I take it. Oh, Fortuno. As you are arrived before me, I take it you are involved in this. I would thank you to furnish me with an explanation. While the research summary you submitted to the forum gave us no cause for concern, these details are alarming. The professor's last message indicated he was on his way to Aziz Law, but we know not whether he ever reached his destination. A rash endeavor, even for Claudian, but he has ever allowed the thrill of discovery to cloud his better judgment. We have no recourse but to entreat Ishgard's aid in searching for him. As for that unsightly fortress which materialized in the ethereal sea, Pandaemonium, was it? It cannot be left alone. For the time being, information regarding this matter must be strictly controlled so as to minimize panic. We will gather those with knowledge of the ethereal sea and continue monitoring it for further irregularities. You two submit a detailed report to the forum at once. At present, we have far more questions than answers. Nevertheless, I would ask for your assistance at such a time that our investigation has concluded. Very good. Now, if you will excuse me, I must apprise the forum of what has occurred here. Interesting. It must have started raining or something. Nope, it is raining. Just when we need him the most, Professor Claudian remains unaccounted for. He even brought the crystal with him. We are left with scarce few straws to grasp at. While I am but a lowly assistant, even I can see that our two current problems are likely related. The same party or phenomenon may be responsible for both. Conversely, I see now that my unexperienced imagination failed to do Pandaemonium's pitiless spires justice. I can only wonder if the facility itself traversed the ages. Did the creations within do the same? What of the keywords? But answers to these questions shall come in time. I am sure for now I must do as Master Fortuno asked and write that report. As for you, Myrokos, pray get your responsibilities will allow. When next we call upon you, I wager we shall need you in prime condition. And with that, part 2 of Pandaemonium is complete. If you liked what you saw at any point, please like, share, and subscribe on YouTube. Give me a follow on Twitch. Hit the notification bells, and I shall see you anon, friends.